Hello everyone, welcome to Mida Physiology Blogs and I am Dr. Sonam. Today I'll be starting the renal system. Hope you like this video and let's begin now. The objectives of this video is mainly to discuss about the functions of kidney, and I would like to give some basic introduction of the renal system also. The renal system is also called the urinary system because it is associated with the production of urine. And it is also called excretory system because it is associated with the excretion of the waste product found in the blood via the urine. Now in this system, here you can see two kidneys, right? These two red color kidneys you can see, which is bean shaped and which is found in either side of the vertebral column. So whatever blood is being supplied towards the kidney, the blood would be filtrated and ultimately the urine would be formed. The urine which is formed would now be draining into this yellow color tube-like structure. These are the two ureters. So these two ureters will now drain the urine into the urinary bladder. So this one is the urinary bladder. The urinary bladder would now start to accumulate the urine, and when a certain volume of urine is reached, then it would be evacuated outside our body through the micturition reflex via this urethra. The last one portion is the urethra. Now let us begin the functions of kidney. The first function is the homeostatic function. The second one is the endocrine function, and the third one is the gluconeogenesis function, which the kidney will start to do not in the normal condition but in a very chronic starving condition. Okay. Now according to the importance, the first important function of the kidney is the homeostatic function. Here, via this term homeostatic function, you all know that it is associated with homeostasis. And when we are talking about homeostasis, it is basically the maintenance of constant internal environment of our body. Now, though the term is internal environment, we also know that these are the environment which is found outside the cell. So, for a cell to function in a very optimum level, the environment outside the cell should be regulated in a very narrow range, okay, in a very normal narrow range in terms of its constituents like water, electrolyte, hydrogen ion, or in terms of other things like temperature. So here what kidneys are doing is it is regulating the extracellular fluid volume by maintaining the water homeostasis or by balancing the electrolytes or acid base, okay? And it is also excreting the waste products of the blood. So overall, it is maintaining the extracellular fluid environment in a very nearly constant form. The another function of the kidney is endocrine, and then subsequently we'll discuss about the gluconeogenesis function. Now let us discuss this homeostatic function briefly here. You can see that the renal blood flow is around 1.2 liter per minute, or in a day if you calculate it would be around 1700 liter per day. So the blood which is being given, the blood supply towards our kidney, okay, each of our kidney is around 1.2 liter, that is 1200 milliliter per minute. And though 1200 milliliter of blood is being supplied in a minute towards our kidney, the filtration which is being done is only 125 ml in a minute. Okay, so this filtration is being done via this glomerular apparatus, so you call it glomerular filtration, and this glomerular filtration is 125 ml per minute. In a day, if we calculate, it will be around 180 liter per day. Okay, remember this value because these values are very important from examination point of view. Now I again repeat, though the blood supply of the kidney was 1200 ml per minute, the blood which was filtrating is only 125 ml per minute. Now what you have to understand here is, though the blood is being filtrated 125 ml per minute, not all of them they are going to form the urine, because in a normal healthy individual what they have found is the urine which is formed is only 0.5 ml per minute, or if we calculate in a day it will be 1 to 1.5 liter in a day. So here you can see that 125 ml of blood which was filtrated out From that blood, only 0.5 urine would now subsequently form into the urine. That means 99% of that filtrated blood is again reabsorbed back into our body. Okay, and remember, this reabsorption process is very, very important, because if there is no such reabsorption process, many of the constituent of the extracellular fluid, maybe that is water or electrolytes, it would be draining out of our body, and it may lead to various fatal condition. So here 99% of the filtrate is reabsorbed back with the restoration of the normal blood electrolytes like sodium, potassium, with the removal of the waste products like urea, creatinine, with the removal of the excess of the hydrogen ion, and also it is helping in the maintenance of normal water level in the body. So this all together, you can summarize that in this way: the kidney via filtration and via again reabsorption and via the proper formation of the urine, it is maintaining the homeostasis inside our body. Now the other function of the kidney is the endocrine function, in which the kidneys, they are releasing certain hormones, and these hormones are now going into some other organs, and they are having its effect so as to maintain our body's function. Here the very important molecule which is being released by the kidneys, they are the renin. Okay, the renin, they are being released from the juxtaglomerular cells, and remember, this renin, when they are released into the blood, they are now acting over the angiotensinogen. This angiotensinogen is a kind of plasma protein. Now when this renin would act over the angiotensinogen would be converted into angiotensin 1, and this angiotensin 1 would be subsequently converted into angiotensin 2 with the help of enzymes like angiotensin converting enzymes, which are found in the capillaries of the lungs and other organ. And this angiotensin 2 is a very, very important substance, a very, very important molecule, which is helping in the regulation of blood pressure in the very long term. So overall, we can say that the kidneys, they are helpful in the maintenance of blood pressure via the release of renin. Now in the other endocrine function, the kidneys, they are also secreting the renal erythropoietic factor. Okay, this erythropoietic factor, you can also call it renal erythropoietin, and this molecule is important for the erythropoiesis process, that is the formation of RBC. And we all know that this RBC, when they in the mature form, when they are having this hemoglobin, they are helpful in the carrying of the oxygen, right? So this erythropoiesis in the fetuses and neonates, that is being done. Okay, this erythropoiesis process occurs with the help of this renal erythropoietic factor. And nowadays they have also found that even in the hypoxic individual who are adult, even in the adult hypoxic individual, the kidneys, they are also releasing this renal erythropoietic factor or erythropoietin, which is subsequently helping in the erythropoiesis process. The another important endocrine function of the kidneys are, it is helping in the formation of this 1,25-dihydrocholecalciferol. And remember, this 1,25-dihydrocholecalciferol is actually the active form of vitamin D. Okay, so what is the active form of vitamin D? Why it is important? It is because this active form of vitamin D is the one which is helpful, or which is only useful for the absorption of the calcium which is present in our diet. Okay, though via the action of the UV rays under the cholesterol present in beneath our skin, or via the diet, okay, the vitamin D may be synthesized in our body, but those vitamin D, they are in the inactive form. But when those inactive form of this vitamin D, they are coming into the kidney, okay, now in the kidney they are acted upon by this enzyme, that is 1-alpha hydrolase in proximal convoluted tubule, and subsequently via this enzymatic action, the inactive form of vitamin D would be converted into active form, that is 1,25-dihydroxycholecalciferol, or you can also call it calcitriol. Okay, and this is helpful for the absorption of calcium present in our diet. So this was the endocrine function of the kidney. And the third function of the kidney is the gluconeogenesis function. So this gluconeogenesis process, we know that it is associated with the production of glucose molecule, but from the non-carbohydrate sources, right? So this gluconeogenesis function of the kidneys, they are doing, okay, only in the very prolonged starvation or chronic respiratory acidosis condition. So normally in a normal healthy adult, we cannot say that the kidneys, they are associated with the gluconeogenesis function. So only in this condition, you can see the kidneys assuming this gluconeogenesis function. So that's it for today's, guys. So we have covered the function of kidney in today's video, and we will discuss the kidney in more detail in next video. So if this video was useful to you, please like and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to comment for any suggestion and queries. Thank you.